Welcome back to the Lifted Lifestyle Podcast, episode
13.
13. Oh dear.
Your family.
Hope it's not an unlucky episode.
Oh,
Rocky's going to come in and
just kill us.
just
Eat us.
But today we've got another overrated versus underrated episode because I actually didn't check, but I'm pretty sure it did all right on the tube. So
Yeah, I think it did. I think that's why we decided to do another one.
yeah, so we're obviously going to be doing different underrated versus overrateds. We've also got a new debutant of the beverage.
Oh, I was wondering on about it, yeah.
rather than the money. Today we've gone for a Rubicon Raw Energy.
It's actually banging. Honestly, I think it's better than any Monster. That.
Slaps, to be fair. I can imagine that being nice in the sun.
Yeah.
You know,
It's a summery kind of thing.
walking down to the beach
Oh,
rather than in 2 degrees.
yeah, it's very cold.
Same in the gym. It's going to be 0 in like.
Is it actually going to be 0 in the day?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
On Tuesday, I think it was, and Monday
Ooh.
it's 1. Wednesday it's 1. At the minute, at least.
It's dropping like flies. Not good at all.
So yeah, do you want to crack straight into it? Do you want to?
Yes, should we do?
I'm going to be making some up on the fly here as well.
Okay.
We've also got a few questions, so we'll go through them as well.
Oh yeah, I think I had some questions from the previous week that we didn't do.
Oh, you did?
Alright. Should we go one of mine first and then one of yours?
Yeah.
This is for the overrated, underrated. And then
We'll
we'll
start
check
with
the
that.
questions afterwards. Let's go with one of yours. Spencer, my new client. He could have asked me, but cheers, man. Yes, you
I
said.
thought that when you said it.
Fucking sound. Leg day. This is an interesting one actually because I was on the call with him last night and I was chatting to him about like his current training setup and he went through it. I was like, yeah, we can improve on this, and this, and I was like, the main thing we can probably improve on is you actually training legs. Like, he didn't mention
Did you
legs.
just not do it?
What he was like, oh yeah, I throw them in like every other week. I was like, okay,
It's
well,
definitely like once a month.
yeah, literally, as soon as I said it, his face was like, oh shit, yeah. And it's overrated, underrated leg day.
I would say training legs twice a week.
Let's talk from an enjoyment standpoint
okay.
first, and then
Enjoyment-wise, I think it depends who you ask. There's a lot of hardcore BBs that will.
a lot of people say it's underrated.
I love it. Like,
It's the best session. I swear, majority of bodybuilders you speak to say their favourite day is leg day. I honestly think it's a lie, and it's like an ego thing.
that's I think probably what it is you know when you see people do these really long distance events and that they're actually hard, like
Yeah,
it's actually really, really hard. And obviously when you're in it, you're like, Jesus, can this end?
yeah.
But when you finish it,
It's a rewarding
you're
thing.
like, they're happy about that they've done it. I think it's
Yeah.
probably, if you do enjoy it, like anything hard, really, really hard.
Yeah, once you've completed it,
Yeah.
it's like a really good feeling.
But have you ever actually done something unbelievably hard
No,
and
like,
being like, yes, I love this.
yeah, no, no.
You're kind of doing it for the end.
The satisfaction
And
of
feeling,
completing
yeah.
it. It's weird because like some days, like last week, I did enjoy the session,
Yeah.
but it's not like the other sessions I do. It's not the same feeling. I'm not like buzzing to go to the gym.
It's kind of like when I was playing rugby, like the actual games, like an hour before, I would be like kind of dreading it.
Yeah.
Going,
And then you're doing it
this
and
is
it's
going to be
actually
really
okay.
difficult.
Yeah.
You do it and you're like, okay, this is hard. I'm not hating it, but this is hard.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, you've
You've
look
got the
back
sense
and
of fulfillment.
think,
I'd still say they're overrated just because of how much people like hype them up
yeah.
and say how good they are. Like realistically, it's not fun. I wouldn't say training legs is fun.
It's hard. If
It's
you
hard,
like that, then fair.
Yeah,
I
if
think-
you like it, fair enough.
I think what probably is definitely overrated is training legs at a super high frequency.
Yeah,
I think, like, actually, if you're looking for progression, I do think that is overrated.
yeah,
Because you just, at least I can't, like, recover from it.
yeah. You know when you see people, they're doing like they might have some sort of leg work 3 times a week. It's like
Yeah.
I don't think I couldn't even imagine doing 2 lots of leg work. Like even if it was a tiny bit,
Yeah.
I still couldn't imagine doing it.
We don't do a lot of sets, but like 3-4 days later, you're still
I'm
like
battered. Like my legs now, I can still feel my hamstrings from Friday.
I get it really bad in like the very bottom of my quad.
Yeah.
Like going in there, that really hurts.
Yeah.
So I think most of the time, if you train legs hard enough,
You don't need.
you can actually get really good results with 1. 2, maybe you get a little bit better, but 3,
That's
unless you're
seriously
splitting
pushing.
up into like 2 quad days,
Yeah.
1 ham day or whatever.
Yeah, you'd have to be really sort of smart with your volume.
Like surely you can't train quads 3 times a week.
No.
Even if you're doing 2 sets a day, like you'd be absolutely
But
ruined.
even then, it's like I'd rather just do like more volume on one day rather than spreading it over 3, kind of. Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine finishing like an upper day and then going to do some leg extensions.
I'd just be like, I won't get anything out of it at all. I'd just be ready to go home.
Knees would be killing you.
Right. So what we're going with, we've not said. I think overrated.
Overrated.
Coach Denny. I think it's Denny. It's like...
This on yours, yeah?
Yeah. I've spoke to him a few times. He's a very nice guy. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Denny. I could be saying that. Denny. That's Denny, isn't it?
It's not Deanie, is it? So
no, but he might have
Denny.
like some foreign... I don't know. Anyway. So this is such an easy one for me, and I know it will be for you.
On.
So overrated, underrated, cream of rice.
Oh, God.
And he's put overrated, let's be real, it doesn't taste good. And Denny, I would completely agree.
Yeah, I think maybe the hype has died down a little bit recently.
I don't think it has.
Really?
No, most people I see have cream of rice at some point in the day.
Maybe that's just because I've probably detached a little bit from like watching loads of BB content.
I just don't get it. I actually don't understand it. Like, if you really, really like it, then fair enough. But I can think of like so many other foods that are rice based as well. So it's probably just going to digest just as good. That are so much nicer.
You know what I think? Cream of rice is like. Have you ever seen people having like savoury porridge?
Yeah.
Where they'll like use oats, but to make like something savoury.
Yeah.
I think cream of rice is the same, but the other way around.
The other way around. Yeah, it is. It's just weird.
I don't. It's like making pasta taste of chocolate.
Yeah.
Why would you do it?
The thing I don't. You're literally eating like a baby. Just eat some like normal food.
It's like actual slop.
Yeah. Yeah.
I agree. Overrated.
It's just not good at all.
No.
Like, put it this way, right? If I was to give you a bowl of cream of rice, or a bowl of Rice Krispies.
No, yeah, any day you'd go for the Rice Krispies.
You see people having cream of rice like 3-4 times a day.
Yeah, I don't know how they do that. As if all other carb sources like digest really badly.
Yeah, they literally go digest so well. Just have something else that's rice based. It's going to be exactly the same.
No, mate, you need it to taste of salted caramel, or else it doesn't work.
Sweet cinnamon donut. It's like you're not a child. But again, if you do like it, like fairs. But I probably tried 3 or 4 flavors. And every single one, I've had a spoonful. I've been like,
well, it's like protein.
That is dreadful.
Really, when you have a protein shake, like. It's never actually nice.
No. Unless you have it with like milk and stuff.
But even still, it's like it's
still not amazing.
It's no way near as nice as something else could be for the same. But it's convenient. But like, is cream of rice convenient?
Every time I've made cream of rice, it's like a military project. Like, it's so hard to make. People are like, so easy. It's so easy.
What did you watch this video? Just search how to make cream of rice.
There'll be
honestly
millions of
thousands of videos.
No, you've got to microwave it, whisk it every 4.29 seconds. It's like, oh my God. But every time I've had it, it's been clumpy.
Yeah.
It tastes of shit.
Yeah.
Like, it literally tastes dreadful. And the texture's awful.
And also, you can guarantee the first 5 times you make it, it's just going to not turn out well.
Yeah. No, yeah.
You see it all the time in people's stories, like, it just looks like concrete.
I literally remember when we made it here.
Yeah.
I remember we were in your kitchen, we made it here. And we were like, what the hell is this? Like, yeah.
Overrated, though.
Overrated.
Definitely overrated cream of rice.
Brick. Right, next one. Harrison Jamo, a.k.a. Harrison Smith. I would still like to know why his name is Harrison Jamo on Instagram.
No idea.
I'm going to ask him after the pod if I remember. 'Cause it's something I've been intrigued. Overrated. What?
Is this from me?
Yeah.
Oh, this might be a.
This guy
I don't
reads.
know if this is
This
a question.
just a question. Yeah, it's not overrated, underrated.
I actually can't remember what it is.
Overrated, underrated. Would you rather?
Yeah.
So this isn't an overrated, underrated. Overrated, underrated. This is just a normal question. Would you rather ride 100 kilometers uphill or 5k on a dildo bike? How far is 100 kilometers in miles?
It's a long way.
I don't deal in kilometers.
It's more than half. Quite significant. I think maybe I'm completely guessing it, but it might be like 70 miles, 60 miles. Oh no. Yeah.
Yeah, 62 miles.
Yeah, 62.
Which on a bike, right? If you were on like a road bike, like yes, it's a long way, but it's not actually
It's
that
not
bad.
that far.
Like, it's not. But
60
uphill,
miles. I think flat, you can probably do comfortably like 15, 16 miles an hour.
Yeah.
So if it was flat, what, 4 hours? Pretty standard.
Yeah, but this is. It says uphill. But are we talking like
Little.
Or if we're talking like this, right? I'd rather fucking do it on the dildo bike, to be honest. But if it's like a slight gradient, I'm doing the 100 kilometers on.
I don't think anything. It doesn't matter the distance. I don't think I'm doing it. I don't think I'm doing the other option.
What if it were 100 kilometers like this?
Yeah, but
I'd rather have a dildo up my ass.
if you got a nice,
There you go. I've said it.
a nice, you got a nice low gear, pedaling along, nice little scenery, going through the mountains. I think it'll be
Yeah,
alright.
but with your quads like feeling like they're gonna fall off.
It would be rough, but all dependent on the gradient. I'm saying
Yeah, I agree. If it was just 100 kilometers, slight incline,
you'd be alright.
I'd probably quite enjoy doing that. To be
Yeah.
honest, quite fun.
Should we do it?
Yeah, fuck it. Before next week, we'll do it. Every time I go off onto yours, mine disappear. So I have
That's
to go
good.
back into my.
You must
Right.
have quite a few then.
I've got 1, 2. I've got 4.
Go
I've
on,
done 2 already. So, Joe Mudford, love Joe. Joe's actually he's my new coach. I'm not coached by Ryan anymore.
He's active.
Yeah, bro was giving me some really good advice on the night out in Budapest.
Really?
Yeah, he watches, but it's weird. Like, I don't think he really goes to the gym, but he's like, yeah, I watch bodybuilding.
Oh, really?
He like
Wait.
watches the Olympia.
So he was in Budapest just to watch.
No, he was with my brother.
Oh,
Well, that's who he went with.
Yeah, I remember.
So they
now.
watched the show, and yeah, we were on the night out, and he was He was so pissed.
Was he giving you
And he was giving me like
arm
some
round
talk.
shoulder?
Yeah,
Listen
we
to
were.
it,
We had
listen
we had
to
our
it.
arm around each other, and he was like chatting to me. So I said I was going to hire him. But overrated, underrated from Joe Beers. I don't even know he listened to the podcast, to be honest.
Thanks
so
for
thanks,
listening,
Joe.
man.
He
Beer,
also
beer. Go on.
quick one. He also has told Max before he'd really like to be coached by me, but he's worried I'd take his life away from him or something.
Brother.
Innit? Joe, just fucking sign up and
Yeah,
we'll
I'm not
see.
Not gonna do any of that, mate.
Innit? Anyway, overrated, underrated beers.
It's quite a polarizing topic, I think.
I think this is a good topic.
Polarizing within the fitness industry, at least.
Yeah.
Like anyone outside of the fitness industry probably doesn't even think about it that much.
Yeah.
But within it, there's a lot of hate.
Towards pints.
Yeah. And then there's some people that actually go the other way, like Crogan is always talking about
Yeah,
having
he
a
just
pint.
loves pints, yeah.
So
I love a pint. I really do. I shared a pint with Joe as soon as I came off stage.
that's cute.
And my brother and that, so.
I think having a full night out just of pints is overrated.
Oh, God, yeah.
That's heavily overrated.
Heavily.
But a lot of people do it,
Heavily
especially
overrated.
UK blokes.
Yeah, they're like
They love a 10
so
pint a night. Like,
scared of being demasculinified
yeah.
by having like anything that's not a
you
pint.
got to only drink
Yeah, you
Guinness.
literally can only have pints.
Stouts only. The pint has got to stink, or else it doesn't count.
You got to drink it and it's got to burn your tonsils off, otherwise it's not a real pint.
So yeah, that's overrated for me. Having like,
I just think they're overrated in general, pints.
Yeah,
I love like 1 or 2, but as soon as I've had 2 pints, I'm fed up of them.
also depends on the setting.
Yeah.
You know, if you're, I know there's a lot of people that like this, but for me, if you're in a little dingy pub,
Yeah.
chewing down pints on a random Friday night.
Yeah. Sometimes it's so enjoyable and the vibe is right,
Yeah.
but sometimes I'm sat there like, I know for a fact if we were to go out this weekend with all our mates, sit there drinking pints in a pub, I'd drink like 3 and I'd be like, what am I doing here? What am I doing with my life?
Yeah, but if you're in the right setting, right time,
It can be
great.
Can
Be
laugh.
bussing.
Yeah.
But I am one for transitioning pretty quick.
Yeah.
From the old pintaroonies to.
Yeah. We're very similar with this, aren't we?
Yeah. I just think it tastes nicer. Like.
Yeah, it does. Like I don't ever really have a pint and I'm like, oh, this tastes unreal.
Yeah.
Like it's very rare.
Maybe
very,
that first one when you're sat in the sun.
No, but even after you've had half of it, you're like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm so fed up with this.
That
now.
bottom third is never good. But yeah, I like starting off with a beer and having a transition onto body coke, something like that.
Yeah, another one.
Something like that.
Yeah, it is so like situational dependent.
Yeah.
Like when we're in Croatia, like when you're at the beach club, just starting off with a nice Corona is good, but then you just convert straight away.
It's kind of like, when there's a certain subsector of people that like don't like dessert.
Yeah,
they're like more of a savoury kind of guy. Yeah. I'll pass upon the dessert. That's like the same thing, but not having like cocktails.
Yeah,
cocktails
like drinking juice and you get pissed.
They're just so much tastier.
They're just way nicer.
Bit more expensive, but
you can have a better time. It's better enjoyment, man.
Yeah, it is. It does taste nicer than beer. Like I don't know how you can argue differently.
When we were in Croatia, there was 1.5 litres of cocktails or 1.5 litres.
Yeah,
pint.
You'd be feeling absolutely awful.
I know which
but
one.
At the same time, I don't know if there's part of it where I've just had like too many bad experiences with beer.
Yeah.
Where
I always feel as well, like if I have 5 beers, I can be pissed off 5 pints. Yeah, I'm gone.
Yeah.
But then like 5 double voddies, like I'm probably still a bit drunk, but not as drunk as I would be after drinking beer.
Or a dual quad vod.
Yeah, dual quad vod. Come on. Alright, so what are we saying? Overrated?
Overrated, but I kind of like them as well.
Yeah. Right, last one. Creatine. Straight off the bat, right, I'm going to say I have not had creatine consistently for probably 2 years. Like, serious. I'm not even just saying that, like, genuinely.
Yeah.
Like, I might have had it for, like, 2 weeks here and there. Like, in prep, I had it for, like, literally probably, like, 5 days. Forgot for 2 days, and I was like, I can't be asked to do it again.
I think, let's say, going off price to value ratio, like equation. I think
I don't even know how much it is though anymore.
I think probably for about 400-500 grams nowadays, you might be spending like 20 quid.
Yeah, which seems pretty reasonable.
What's that? A serving's like 5, so you get 100 servings for 20 quid.
I'd say that's reasonable.
Which is 20p a serving. 100 servings, you got to buy it 3 times a year. 20, 40, 60, 70 quid for a year. And you're probably going to gain, if we look at it, maybe a pound of extra muscle.
Yeah.
Which is not that
It's not much, but then in the grand scheme of things,
difference.
it does seem worth it.
Yeah. Obviously, that would be maybe start of training career type job. I'm not 100% sure what it's like or how much you actually can realistically gain more from, a more experienced lifter.
Yeah.
There's just not
like
data on it.
Obviously, it's meant to have a positive impact on your training, but I can't ever remember taking it and like.
Yeah, you're not like, oh.
Like if I started taking it now, am I definitely gonna like feel stronger? Like, I don't know.
It's a bit one of them, isn't it? It's like a hidden thing. Yeah. You're not taking it and going into gym thinking,
yeah,
I'm on creatine.
Yeah, I'm
is
getting massive now. This session, I'm getting one.
Yeah. So I think it all depends on how much you want to spend on your
progress, really.
And you're going to be consistent. If so, then probably have it.
Yeah. For me, it's not even the price thing.
Yeah.
I literally just forget.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I probably will actually start taking it, to be fair.
Yeah.
Because I would like
It
to
is
see
probably
if I
worth
do
it.
have a benefit
Yeah.
towards my training.
But I think it's probably slightly overhyped.
Yeah. I'd say it's overhyped.
The natty
The best
gear,
natty
like,
supplement you can take.
it's the most researched supplement.
Yeah, that's what you see all the time.
Okay, it's really well researched and it definitely does something.
Yeah.
But
But it is like almost forced down the throats of people, this, especially like younger people who are getting into the gym.
yeah.
Like, one of the first questions you always get asked by people is like, "Oh, do you take creatine?"
Yeah.
It's like, doesn't really matter if you do or you don't. Like,
It's not going to be the deciding factor, is it?
Whether you make progress or not.
The worst thing you
definitely
see is, like, in gyms where you can get a shake after you've trained.
Yes.
People will go in and get a shake, and realistically, you're doing it 1 to 3 times a week, getting a shake post training. I don't do that, but I'm sure some people do. And then they go, "Yeah, I'll have a scoop of creatine."
Yeah, get creatine in there.
It's like an extra £1.
Yeah, it's like, what are you doing, mate?
That is then definitely not worth it.
Yeah, it's not very cost effective, is it? At all.
So if you're gonna have it consistently, and then you're probably gonna get some out of it. But I'm the same. I've probably not been as consistent as I could be with it. Have I seen a difference? Not noticeable, but maybe it.
No, I'm trying to think
does.
back to like the time when I used to take it consistently. I don't remember thinking like, "Oh my God,
I'm blowing up.
I'm blowing up here." Yeah,
It just doesn't happen.
So I'd say it's probably overrated.
Yeah, but it works.
Yeah. Right. That's all the overrated, underrated we've got. Shall we have a quick look? Should we just pause for a sec, have a quick look through our archives and see if we got any questions? Because I feel like I did.
Yeah, you can do.
Right, so Marston PT. Do you know him?
I don't know him, but he's a great follower. He likes all of my stuff.
Yes, he likes all my stuff.
Yeah.
Is he? I think he's coached by Ryan, isn't it? Is that the guy who's coached by Ryan?
Yeah, and he messaged me. He definitely watches the pod as well because he messaged me about the pod. So,
cool.
Thanks, man.
Thank you, Marston. Whatever, if that's your first name, I don't know. So he asked, "What do you guys find the most challenge about coaching from 1-to-1 to online?"
As in person to online.
Yeah. So what do you guys find the most challenge about coaching? From in person to online.
So is the question like, what's challenging for both, or is it a comparison thing?
From 1-to-1 to online.
I think it's just what's challenging for both.
Yeah, I think it is. I'm pretty sure he's PT, so he's probably interested as to what the sort of differences are.
Or do you want to kick it off with in person?
Yeah. So what's challenging about in person? For me, I think the main thing about in person is, for example, if you have a client who has bought 10 sessions, for example, and they're wanting to do 1 session a week, right? So you've got 10 weeks there where you're seeing them for 1 hour in a week. So you only have sort of control of what they're doing for 1 hour out of, what's 24 times 7?
168.
Yeah, so a lot. 1 hour out of that many hours. So it's going to be very hard to get that client to progress, especially if they're not doing productive things in the other 167 hours. I say that's the most challenging thing.
Yeah, I think with in-person PT, it's really good for teaching people how to exercise.
Yes, but not actually getting them to progress.
Yeah, which is where you can start looking at, with your in-person PT, doing more in the background, as opposed to just the sessions. But some people just want the PT, because the like perfect combination is doing both. If you got like
I've got a client,
Steve
who does that.
And like that works really well because
it's perfect. Yeah, it's spot on.
You can make your training really good really quickly.
Yeah.
Because it's easier to adjust little things when you're in person training.
Yeah,
with
rather
someone.
than doing it over like form clips, WhatsApp, and things like that.
But with standard in person, you don't get the, like you say, the nutrition and
obviously
the
you can
accountability
do that, but then you have to find a service and charge for that service.
Yeah, and that's going to be like, if you're realistic about it, in-person PT sessions somewhere between 30 and 50 quid.
Yeah.
So if you're doing even one a week, that's already 200 quid a month.
Yeah.
And then adding online on top of that, it's like most people don't have that much just expendable income to put towards their.
Yeah. I'd say, so I'm guessing he's probably thinking about maybe going online. So I think the best thing to do would not be to go like, okay, I'm just stopping my in-person PT, I'm just going to go all online. Is probably try and get sort of a hybrid system going.
Yeah.
Because number one, you can charge a fucking shit ton of money. Number two, you're still actually seeing those clients in person for the sessions, so you can make sure their sessions are really, really good.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, if you can do that and then manage their nutrition in the background and still do their check-ins, etc., etc., they're likely to make progress a lot quicker than someone who would just sign up to online and then you've got to spend weeks sorting their training out through form clips and things like
especially
that.
Especially when you're starting off online, you're not going to get people that have been training for 5, 6, 7 years. So they're going to need a lot of help with the training to make it good, at least.
Yeah.
And even people that have been training for that long, like there's always quite a lot to go over, isn't there?
Yeah.
Which is probably something that people don't realise. Like there is.
Yeah, this is what I always say to people. If they sign up and they've already been training like 3-4 years, like Boris, for example, it's like, I always get a little bit worried about asking them to send me their clips because I don't want them to think I'm like patronising them and saying their trainings are not good. But it's not that. It's just, if you can assess all their training and find even just slight tweaks that you can make, it's going to help their progress much, much more.
Yeah.
And that's what they're paying you for. So it's, I'd say that's the most challenging.
That probably links with the online. It's probably that is the same thing then. The challenging thing online is helping people train better because the feedback loop is slower.
Yeah.
If you're in person, it's like you see them do the exercise, you tell them to change something a little bit. Has that cue worked or not? Yes, no. Let's try something else.
Yeah.
But with online, it's like, okay, they've got to go through a full rotation of a week again to then be able to send that clip again and see how it is.
Put the changes into practice.
Yeah.
I think another thing with online that's people probably don't understand is if like they're transitioning, is that it's a lot more work than you actually think it is. Like, you have to find ways to actually motivate the clients more because obviously you're not seeing them in person. And a lot of the time you're going to get, when you first start, you're going to get like really unadherent clients, which makes your job
it's difficult,
so hard. It makes it so hard.
Especially, I mean, I did it for probably a year, coaching people for like basically free to get results. And I think it's because they're not financially bought into the process.
Yeah, they don't value it as highly because they're not paying you much money.
Yeah. So then it's hard, unless they're a really good mate and they're like, yeah, I want to help you out with this.
Or they seriously want to actually change and make progress.
There's an aspect of the accountability where it's like, well, you're actually paying you're paying to get this thing now. Yeah. So even without the coach holding you accountable, messaging you, all of this, you're actually automatically more accountable anyway.
Yeah, you look at your bank statement and you're like, oh, shit.
Should probably actually do something.
Probably actually try here.
Yeah.
So I think that answers the question quite well. Is there anything else with...
The only other thing I'd add about online is, obviously there's a lot of people that do it now. So I always think that I wish I'd have started earlier. I'd have probably been too young, but there's an aspect of me that wish I'd have started earlier because there's a lot of people that do it now, and with that, to stand out, you've got to do a lot of work to make your service significantly better.
Yeah.
So it's not just like sending over a training program and doing a weekly check-in now. Like there's a lot more stuff that at least we do to try and make it better.
A better service and other people's. And I think the main thing as well is, right, you've got to understand that you actually have to care.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, with coaching, the potential to earn a lot of money is there, and to have like a really good lifestyle. Like, you can work from whenever, wherever. So it seems really glamorous, but at the end of the day, you still have to care.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're not going to get anywhere.
Yeah. And the final thing I'd add is, if you do, let's say, if you work a 9 to 5, yes, you get X amount of weeks off depending on where you work, and you're actually off. The same with if you did in-person PT, you can be off and go away, whatever, and you've got
obviously
nothing
you're not
to
going to
do.
be earning money,
But especially when you're growing, sure, down the line you might message your online clients and say, I'm going on holiday for a week of the year.
and most people won't care.
Yeah.
If you've had a really good service for the other 51 weeks of the year, a lot of people are going to be like, that's sound, mate, just enjoy yourself.
But at the same time, especially if you're holding yourself to like really high standards, it's at least for me, it's almost impossible to just like turn off.
Yeah.
When you are away, you're going to be doing some work.
Yeah, it's like when we were in Croatia, again, like, there was days where we'd been out till like 4 or 5 a.m, up at like 9, because we know we've got to get work done. Yeah. You can't just not respond to your clients.
Yeah. And that's definitely, it's not a negative, because I really like that lifestyle. But I think from the outside, you can look in and go, oh, you just, sit on your laptop for an hour or two a day.
Always, It's
like, realistically, that's not how it goes.
And it's stressful.
Yeah.
It's a very stressful job to have.
Yeah.
Like, you're managing however many people's progress. And trying to grow a business.
And managing other people's psychology.
Yeah.
Like, that's pretty...
Like, a lot of the time, you end up being a coach and also a therapist.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of people who, when you get to a point after you've coached them for a long time, and you've built up like that sort of rapport, they will open up more to you and tell you more things that aren't relevant to coaching. Yeah. But they see you now as that person who can give them advice.
I think that probably relates a little bit to who we mostly coach as well.
Yeah.
If you've got someone coming in that's like, right, I want to compete in 12 weeks. Sure, there's, difficulties around competing and mindset around competing and all that, but they're not running away from like something that's painful, like they're overweight or they don't like how they look or whatever. They're running towards a goal, which is often more of a positive direction.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
So coaching people that like, they want to...
Your lifestyle sort of client.
Yeah, they want to drop 3 waist sizes or whatever it might be. That's a lot more of a thing that they're running away from as opposed to running towards.
Yeah, they're running towards that goal, whereas these people are running away from somewhere they don't want to be.
Yeah, which obviously starts off in like a not damaged position, but it's like you don't like.
Yeah, they're not happy. Yeah,
which is a bit more to manage, I think.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, but again, it's there's still a positive because they're coming to you with a goal and they've got an actual reason to want to get there. So. Yeah, I think that's a freaking good summary.
Nice. Great question.
It's not as good as it always seems to be, but it is sick.
Yeah, I really enjoy it.
Yeah, it's very good, but there's more to it than people think.
Yeah.
I think the main thing that's hard about coaching is the stress.
Yeah, I don't even know if it's stress for me, but it's just like complete takeover of your mind.
You just want to be where you want to be.
Yeah. Like you'll be in the car on the way to the gym and then all of a sudden you're there and you're like, what the hell's just happened?
Yeah, like you just,
it's because
your mind's always going.
About what can I do? How can I make it better?
Like, I can't think of a time where we've been together now for the past probably year and a bit where we haven't spoken about coaching. Yeah. Even if we're out with everyone else. Yeah. And we're sat next to each other, we'll end up talking about something to do with the coaching business.
Just passion, man.
Yeah, which is a good thing. Right, so is that summarised pretty well?
Yeah.
Hardest thing about one-to-one is you only have them 1 hour a week or 2 hours, whatever. And then online is just...
It's probably the opposite. You only have them 1 a week. The opposite for online, you're thinking about it all the time.
Yeah. Well, you should be if you care.
Yeah.
There you go. Right, so Paul Kenrick. I'm pretty sure this guy follows you as well.
Yeah.
So as coaches, how do you know when to add more volume to a client's training? And this is like a 3-part question, so that's the first bit. I'm just going to run for a wee. You can get started.
I'm just going to sit here talking by myself. Okay, so how do you know when to add volume? I think this is a multifaceted question. There's quite a lot of different things that come into it, depending on the phase, depending on how good your actual training progression is. For some context, I think with both our programming, the first thing you look at is, okay, are we progressing in your current lifts?
Yep.
If that, it's kind of like a bit of a, what are those diagrams called where it's like yes,
like a
no?
stem diagram.
Yeah.
Is that stem?
Is it the tree, the ones that look like a tree?
Yeah, stem. I'm pretty sure it's a stem.
It's kind of like one of them where it's like, okay, are you progressing? If the answer's yes, then you can move on to the following question.
Yeah.
If the answer's no, I'm not progressing, then you've got to look at everything else then and go, okay, well, do I need some more food? Am I sleeping properly? If all of those things are yes and you're not progressing, then I definitely wouldn't add volume.
Oh, no. If anything, you'd probably look to take away volume at that point.
Yeah. So then going down the yes column, yes, I'm progressing.
Yeah.
I think the next question after that is, do I need more volume to get more out of it? Yeah. Or is this current volume the right amount that I need?
Yeah, I think a lot of people forget, right, when they get to that question there, is it actually going to be beneficial? Is if you added that volume in, is it actually going to help you to progress more than what you are doing now?
Yeah.
Because if you add that volume in and let's say your soreness increases, you're not recovering as well, then your progressions are going to be smaller. So I'd rather get away with the lower side and progressions on the exercises and the volume you're already doing be higher.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
that's what I think people forget most of the time.
Yeah, I agree. It's always got to come back to...
It's always going to be more beneficial adding more sets in. And
yeah, I mean, it's really tough because if you look at a lot of research behind it, especially a couple of years ago, it was like, well, there's a clear correlation between more volume equals more gains. The problem with a lot of that research is a lot of it is, let's say, a 8 or 12-week training program, and they do the measurements directly after that maybe the last session finishes or whatever, and it's like, okay, well, we've grown this much by doing more volume, so that must be it. But actually, they're not taking into account that they've just got a load of cell swelling.
Yeah.
They're just like... That's the thing that's why they're getting a bigger measurement.
Yeah.
Because
they're so inflamed.
They're just really inflamed. So you could go and do 100 sets of biceps.
Like obviously your biceps are going to be...
And on that day of measurement, they'd be big because you'd be so...
You'd be so pumped and so fucking swelled, yeah.
So that's where the research doesn't necessarily point you in the right direction. So yeah, I think once you've got past, am I progressing? Yes. Do I need more volume? You can go, okay, do I specifically want to bring up certain muscle groups, or are you adding volume across the board? If it's then volume across the board, the only thing you can do is actually just test it. So if you're thinking, do I need more volume, or can I get away with more? Just try it.
Yeah.
And then it all reverts back to that first question of, am I progressing?
It's all trial and error.
Yeah.
Like, don't be scared to add volume, but then also don't be scared to take away volume.
Yeah. So if you run through that scenario of, okay, I've added 3 sets of chest work, go back to that first question, am I progressing? Is it still at a good rate? If the answer is yes still, then maybe try it a little bit more. Go back, am I progressing? Keep doing that cycle until the answer's no, and then you've essentially found the point where you've tipped over the edge and you've gone too far.
Yeah.
And then the last thing I'd say on volume escalation is make sure you're choosing the right exercises to do it on, because let's say you add 1 set to a hip hinge, that's going to be significantly more fatiguing than adding a set to a curl. Like you can almost definitely add a set to a curl. But you got to be careful.
You're not just going to add sets every single week to a hinge. It's just going to be a slippery slope. So part sort of 2, we've sort of kind of touched on it. So Also touching on volume, do you program mesocycles for each training block? And if so, how long?
To be honest, I think mesocycles are really good for when you've got a specific event,
Yeah.
which often points towards like sport-specific programming. Because if you've got, like everyone, an obvious one would be if you've got the Olympics in 4 years, you can pretty much map out like the thing that you need to do to compete your best at the Olympics. But if you just like training,
just like a general day-to-day gym goer,
I don't think there's as much value in it.
It's like such minutia. Like for your general person,
Yeah.
it's like probably not that important, really.
Yeah, I much prefer just going, let's say you set out, roughly that this training program that you run is going to last for 3 months or 4 months or whatever. You're still making week-to-week decisions on what to do with that. And it might get to 4 months and you're like, well, this is working really well, so I'm going to do it for another month and another month and another month. So having these hard lines of being like, this is when my mesocycle finishes.
Yeah. I
think it's kind of like, why would you do that? Because you're not taking into account any of the data that you're actually getting.
Yeah, I'd say I wouldn't even say it's mesocycling. The only thing I do with people is just breaking down, like you said. So say you've got 3 months in a gaining phase, you break it down into like 10-week blocks.
Yeah.
But that's not from like to be specific with like volume escalation and things like that.
Yeah.
That's just more to keep on top of the client's, for example, rate of gain through a gaining phase.
Yeah.
So we can make sure we're being really specific with that and not pushing things too far.
That's more relating back to the phasing, isn't it?
Yeah.
And potentially manipulations with nutrition.
Yeah.
But mesocycles around training, I think often end up leading you to ignore things.
Yeah.
Because like I say, if you get to the end of your mesocycle and it's working really well, right?
You don't need to start a new mesocycle.
Yeah, you don't need to suddenly do a deload and drop down to baseline volume just because your
when
mesocycle's
people plan mesos in at 6 weeks, after the 6 week, well, I must do a devolume week now. Like,
after a while of training, you can probably start to understand how long do I actually have to last. I know for me, I start to feel pretty battered after maybe 3 months of hard training without a deload.
Yeah.
But it still varies quite a lot.
It varies massively, I think.
Yeah.
Like, I think for me, 6 weeks from now, I'm going to be battered.
Yeah.
I think it all depends on how, like, that progressive run of training's been and things like that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, Mike Israel talked, or at least used to talk about, like, mesocycle, macrocycles all the time. I just think it's kind of...
just overcomplicating things for no reason, I think.
It's fitness nomenclature. Is that the word?
Nice.
It's just, like, kind of not that important.
And then... so we put... also, switching on volume, do you program mesocycles for each training block? And if so, how long would each mesocycle be? Again, there's just no need to put a number on these things.
Yeah.
Personally.
Your training block is as long as you can progress it for.
Yeah. Like, there doesn't need to be a set time where
if it's
you
working,
need to deload.
It's getting you towards your goals, then you don't need to do anything.
Yeah.
It will work until
just
it stops working.
Rinse and repeat until it doesn't work, and
Yeah.
then make the changes that you need to make it work again.
Yeah.
Cool. That's it.
Nice podski, man.
That was a good pod.
Hope you enjoyed. Like I said at the start, subscribe.
Like, share to your stories. Please,
Like.
can people start doing that?
Yeah. Thanks for asking the questions, though. That's starting to build up a little bit.
Yeah, that is. Yeah.
And
I feel like we've got like the usual listeners now, which is nice.
Yeah.
Like, there's people who actually listen every week.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
And I'll put some links below for some free stuff. I think there's like 4 different resources in this link below, so click on it.
Download them all. You might as well.
Yeah, download them all. Just don't read them. Just download them. Don't do anything with them.
Sound.
And yeah, hopefully enjoyed the pod. See you in the next one.
Ciao.
Ciao.